cup of coffee, we're going to be discussing something that can be taken multiple ways.
Is it the goblins?
Trolls.
The goblin trolls.
We're going to be talking about trolls.
Hell
And
yeah.
from the Encyclopedia of Spirits, Fairies, Leprechauns, and Goblins by Carol Rose, she says, this supernatural, I like that, she just says, this supernatural.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
I like that too.
Is essentially Scandinavian, but variations in description and characteristics are apparent between trolls in Scandinavia and those of other countries.
Do we got Scandinavian heritage?
No, not that I know of.
I don't think so. I was just curious.
But you've got to realize that the Vikings settled in lots of places.
That's true. That is true.
So, we don't know. We are American, we are mutts. It's true. And in Scandinavia, the troll may also be referred to as a trolled or trolled.
A trolled or trolled?
Yes.
You got trolled.
Absolutely. They were originally described as a large, hairy shape with a malignant character. They are now considered to appear somewhat like a gnome or dwarf, but as shapeshifters, they can assume any guise. The usual description in Denmark is of a little old man with a long white beard, wearing a red cap and a craftsman's leather apron.
That ain't a troll, that's a gnome.
I'm just telling you what
I
you
know,
we
but
haven't got
that's
to the
a
gnomes.
gnome.
You're confusing people. Stop that. In another place in Ebeltoft, the trolls had humps on their backs, large hooked noses, and wore gray jackets and pointed red caps. But in Gudmundstrup, the trolls were tall men in long black clothes. The troll women in Norway were said to be beautiful. With long red hair, they lived in communities under the hills, long burrows, and ancient earthworks, a feature that also identifies them as the berg folk, or hill people in Sweden. Hey, we're referred to as the hill people. What if we're trolls?
Hillbillies. We are the trolls.
What if we were the trolls? Their homes were said to be wonderful palaces full of treasure, which may glow at night. These supernaturals hate noise and have been driven away from places with church bells. Their attitude towards humans is sometimes benevolent, and they will endow a family they like with riches and good fortune. At other times, they will be malicious, bring bad luck, and be destructive. They will also steal women, children, and property. A branch of mistletoe is used to protect humans and animals from being taken. The trolls are considered to be expert metalworkers and expert healers with herbs and magic, but will only be seen between dusk and dawn, as they will turn to stone if the sun shines on them.
They will turn to stone.
Yes.
That is interesting.
Didn't
That
you
is
watch
so
The Lord
cool.
of the Rings? Didn't you read The Lord of the Rings?
No.
Okay.
I only watched one Lord of the Rings movie. That was it.
And let's see. They're in the
I was a Harry Potter person.
Faroe Islands. They are known as Hollow Men, or the underground people, who were known for abducting humans and keeping them for many years. In Iceland, the trolls are malicious, one-eyed giants. In Finland, there was a lake-dwelling malignant troll, and it was said to be confined to the depths of the water by way of two runic stones placed at each end of the lake it inhabited. When there was a fog or storm and the magic of the stones was obscured, the people stayed inside and would not fish because the troll was released and would drown them. And the trolls of Shetland and Orkney Islands in the United Kingdom were known as trowels or drows.
Trowels or drows?
Trowels or dows, of which there were three distinct groups: land trowels, peary trowels, and sea trowels. The trolls of Greenland and Canada in the folklore of the Inuit and the Inuit people resembled the more ancient concept of the Scandinavian troll. These are described as huge, malignant beings having an enormous, hairless belly that drags along the ground.
That's disturbing.
Yes, and knife-sharp talons on the fingers. These trolls inhabit the hills where they lurk, waiting for the opportunity to attack humans and rip the flesh from their victims. That was a pretty in-depth detail of the trolls.
Yeah,
on that.
With the ripping of the flesh off the victims or whatever, that reminded me of that scene from the first Silent Hill movie.
Oh yeah.
The better of the two movies. Both of those movies are trash, though.
Well, anyhow, and
Pyramid Head.
so there is. I will include a link to the Wikipedia article about trolls, which is pretty much the same as it's not as well written as one by Miss Rose. But I will include that link since I can't put the link other than to the book.
Yeah. Maybe you could find the book like the snippet of the book somewhere online.
Well, I had included the link to the book. So I encourage anyone to invest in it. It's a worthwhile investment.
I may honestly have to take this and read this sometime of my own volition.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a cool thing. So it's interesting. Trolls, they could be good, they could be bad. We're talking about 4chan.
Don't mention them.
Don't
talk to them. Don't acknowledge
the channel
them.
Which will not be named. But I'm a fan of a
no,
lot of them.
You are a fan of the thought of them, not the actuality of them.
There are a lot of white hats on 4chan. I have been saying this for a while. I'm not messing with them. I'm just saying that the ones that are the good guys, they are really, really good guys. Yeah.
They can find you based off a picture of grass, Mom.
Absolutely. And I think that's
fucked up.
Just brilliant.
That's fucked up.
I think that these individuals who have the ability to do that can be so vastly important. Now, if they use their powers for darkness, then that's going to come back on them. But a lot of the ones that I have spoken to online are really, they are fighting for good. And I applaud them.
There's
I do.
Some evil people, though, on 4chan.
There's some
really
evil people in the world. And it's like, we don't know that it's not like this series that I've been watching. It's called Grimm.
Mm-hmm.
And that they appeared to be people, except to Grimm, who had the ability to see their true faces and what they truly were.
Yeah. That's messed up.
It is. Well, now think about it. People that are trolls online. Now, what do they do? It's the same description as the trolls. It's why they call them trolls. They're uncouth, they're obnoxious, they're loud. They say ugly things to hurt people purposefully.
A lot of them do, yeah.
So,
but there are some trolls that honestly just troll for lighthearted fun. That's it. Those are the good ones.
That's a shit poster. There's the difference.
Yeah.
I am a shit poster. Not always, but a lot of times.
Sometimes I'm a shit poster. But sometimes.
Speaking truth these days is considered to be a shit poster.
The trolls are one thing, like actual trolls, not the trolls online. I don't care about the actual trolls online. Actual genuine trolls, like those are some creatures I don't want to fuck with in general at all. Well,
that was the thing in the Lord of the Rings where the trolls had abducted Bilbo and the dwarves and stuff like that. And
I'm lost on that reference.
Their intention was to roast them and eat them.
Ew.
And
disgusting.
So it was a matter of outsmarting them. And Bilbo,
tasty fried human flesh. Tasty.
Yeah. Well, they were
deep fried
hobbits and dwarves.
Deep fried eyeballs.
Well, whatever. And so they had and Tolkien. My God, I love Tolkien. He was a brilliant human being. He developed that Elven language.
Right.
He was a linguist, and to create an entire language.
How
cool is that?
That is pretty cool. Imagine if that language is actually becomes actually used eventually.
There are people that can speak it.
Really?
For real.
Interesting.
Well, there is a huge community of people that are very much immersed into the world of Tolkien, and they do speak Elvish.
Elvish. I wonder if there's a book on learning Elvish.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, probably.
That'd be interesting.
But yeah, the trolls, and that was the thing about Bilbo, was that he had the intelligence to outwit the trolls. And so it was a matter of him asking these seemingly purposeless questions until I think it was Gandalf there at the end. The sun was almost there, and that Gandalf had split the rock that he was standing on and let the sun through, and of course it turned the trolls to stone. Now, if I'm incorrect about the Gandalf thing, Tolkien people, do not troll me.
Do not attack us, please. I never got into Lord of the Rings. I was more of a Harry Potter person.
I love that
seriously
too.
was.
You don't have to be either or. You can be both.
I'm not saying, but I was more drawn to Harry Potter than Lord of the Rings.
Well, that's because Harry Potter is an easier read because of the time that it was written.
Mm-hmm.
And Tolkien, some of those folks that came earlier, and especially like Edgar Allan Poe, when I first started reading Poe, I had a dictionary beside me.
More than likely, that's what I'm going to do. That's
Well,
probably why I've been so deterred from reading his work.
Well, you really shouldn't, because it expands your vocabulary.
Right.
And people used to have a much greater vocabulary than they do now.
I'm lucky if I have 2 words rubbing together. That's it. 4 words.
Expand your mind. Dictionary.
You're talking to someone who has at least 2 brain cells rubbing together.
No. And that's like,
one's about to fall out.
Do not be like the dim-witted trolls that are easily outwitted.
My one brain cell that's left is going to be rolling in the grass in a minute.
No.
It's going to cause me to just roll around in the grass.
No.
Like a worm.
Now see where the sun's going down right now?
Mm-hmm.
That's the time for trolls.
Time to get back inside, I say.
Dawn to dusk.
It's time for the wendigos and the not deer to be out too. Why does that one deer look moldy?
I think it's seriously as far as them going, their fur changing to where it's more autumn.
Okay.
Color so that they can blend in.
But it does look
easier.
moldy, doesn't it?
Sort of it does. It looks like it's a little mildewed. But it's interesting, and we can see with any of these stories. Now you got to realize this was during
there's
time,
a level of truth based to all this.
Sure,
like,
there
as
are.
far as real folklore or whatever.
But during this time, without electricity,
mm-hmm.
when you had candles and lamps and
Lanterns
fires and stuff like that, and you have these amazing shadows, and the dark was dark.
Yeah.
They didn't have the light pollution. And stuff. And so that's...
And shadows could scare people. They
sure.
really can. You
Sure.
know, the saying, oh, you're scared of your own shadow.
Well,
if it looks like another person just in the dark.
Right.
It's like, oh, shit.
Right. And it's interesting as far as a lot of the Norse mythology.
Mm-hmm.
I can't pronounce the names. I understand the basis, just can't pronounce it. It's like physics. I understand the basis of it. I can't do the math.
I don't know anything about physics.
But the cold and everything like that. And it was a very harsh environment. And a lot of the creatures and mythology and legends that came out of that are very much reflective of the natural surroundings in these places.
Right.
So,
I wonder what now it would be like to just live in those live in an era sort of like that, or at least like modern day version of that. Like,
stick around, you may have a chance to find out.
That's what I was saying. Like, what if that happens? Seriously.
Well, there could be a...
Would the trolls come back? Would the mythical creatures come back, or would we still not be able to see them because of what? Previously we had.
Well, it would be a huge awakening for a lot of people. There would be absolutely mass panic.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially in some of these urban areas. And people don't realize...
Even in rural areas like this, that would be...
Oh, sure. But we have people around these areas because Most of us have not known anything except hard times.
That's
hard
true.
times and harder times.
And books don't need electricity. You
No,
just
they
need
don't.
light. You just need candles and
Right.
stuff like that.
Right. And
They're
so,
forever, basically.
imagine
they're
being
kept out in the rain.
imagine being stuck in an urban environment in case a coronal mass ejection hit that knocked out all the computers, which controls everything.
Apocalypse.
Yeah. Now, how
Like
would you even?
like 28 Days Later, that movie.
Yeah.
It'd be like that, minus the zombies.
How would you even get down a stairwell? It doesn't matter whether it's daylight or not, because in a stairwell, there's no windows.
Flashlight.
Maybe.
People have candles, like just like because of the smell or whatever. They could still use those.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, it would be a struggle even getting in and out of a dwelling.
Actually, I don't know how they would actually get out of some of those buildings anyway, because the doors are electronically locked a lot of the time.
Well, a lot of times
Some of the time.
When the electricity...
Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
If the electricity went out, we don't know that those doors would remain locked, which may be a good thing or a bad thing. But as far as being able, a lot of vehicles would not work.
That's
Even
true.
if the vehicles did work, as far as getting fuel, because...
Getting back to horse and buggy.
Absolutely. Bicycles.
I wouldn't mind that.
Oh,
I wouldn't mind
honey.
horse and buggy.
It's just that would be...
Getting to ride a horse all the time.
Even as far as...
Ride with a horse.
Water and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm sure that's got some kind of an electrical component. I mean, it's gravity on a lot of it, but it's probably got some kind of an electrical something somewhere.
Well, due to where we live, we would have no problem getting water.
Well, it'd be a matter of filtering the water.
Yeah. But, like, we still have that filter in the house, that...
Yeah, but the other water's got to come from somewhere. And there are mountains.
There's a river, not, like, literally a mile or so down the road.
I understand that, but that water would have to be filtered.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know that would make potable water.
You pre-filter it, you boil it, and then you put it through that filter.
Possibly. You would probably boil it first and then do all that.
Yeah.
But there are mountain springs and things like that, so we would probably have an easier time adjusting in some ways than people in urban areas.
Mm-hmm.
And then people would find out what they're about, whether or not they would be a troll.
I mean, I wouldn't mind scaring people away from my land.
I understand that, but I'm saying, when things get
Dress up as Bigfoot.
really difficult, people find out about themselves and they find out about others.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, does everyone have an inner troll? Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of keeping that thing, sort of at a minimum, but being able to release it if it needs to be.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So, if you've
I wouldn't
had...
mind living with the elves.
I wouldn't mind living with the elves either. They are very civilized and peaceful people, except when they need to go to war, and then they do so ruthlessly.
Well, that's different. They have to be then.
Yeah. And
war is not a pleasant civil
No, it's
thing.
not. And that, again, with the token, that all that is in there. And actually, a lot of that was as far as his concern with the Industrial Revolution. That he saw things, He saw things. I think he had a gift of prophecy in a lot of ways.
That we would come back to that era again?
That it was a matter of the destruction of that, and that was where why the elves left, because they lived in harmony with nature.
Where would they go, though?
They went to the Grey Havens.
Where's the Grey Havens?
That's one of those things that was, to me, the Grey Havens was another dimension. So we may be sailing to the Grey Havens soon.
I wouldn't mind that.
It'd be all right.
What if God has another world waiting for us, like another version of Earth?
Without the corruption.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're told. That's what we're hoping. Anyhow, folks...
Like it's the exact same as this Earth, except without all the bad.
This Earth is God's style. Minus the corruption.
But that's what I'm saying. What if it's literally a copy and paste version of it,
Oh.
just without the bad?
It's a matter of sticking around and finding out.
I would rather hurry up and go there.
He wants to know. He wants to read the last chapter before he started the book.
Yes.
That ain't how that works.
I did that. That's how I cheat. That's how I got through.
There is no cheating.
That's how I got through the damn tests at school. Like those stupid library tests, whatever. That they made you take after you read a book.
Yes.
That's how I got through a lot of those.
This is why you don't remember that. And you did not experience the book.
No.
Right. So, if you have had paranormal or supernatural experiences, encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, trolls, Bigfoot,
Goblins.
4chan,
The
mythical
You do not
beings.
mention 4chan.
The mythical beings of 4chan.
No.
If you have local legends,
Oh.
family legends, anything like that, then send us an email to cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. The email is always in the description box.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've got a gnome sitting right over there. We have a goth gnome.
It's ceramic. It's not squishy and fleshy.
Is it?
Yes.
We don't know that
Have
it
you
doesn't-
seen it move?
I don't know. It probably does that.
Oh
when
my
it's
God,
not
it
here.
does not.
We don't know that.
We do.
Anyhow, you all have a wonderful day, and just enjoy avoiding the trolls. Stay out in the sunlight.
Or go out in the dark. We can't control you. You do you. You're grown-ass people.
Well, if you go out in the dark, be aware of what's out there.
Bring a light. Bring a candle. Bring a lamp. Don't let Bigfoot eat your face off. Or a goblin.